Look, she's making the Georgia bet that she can rev up African American turnout. Folks, the Atlanta is surrounded by what they call the donut of counties, and the northwest corner of the donut is very white, very Republican, very conservative. That was like Marjorie Taylor Greene territory, Newt Gingrich territory up there. The rest of the donut, the upper right-hand corner of the donut, more liberal, white.
It's sort of slashed down the middle from east
purple-ish,
to west.
Let's call it.
Yeah.
The bottom half of the donut is African-American. Savannah, Augusta, big African-American populations out in parts of the state. Southwest Georgia, high African-American percentage, but diffuse across the counties. Can you tell I've done races in Georgia? And so she's making a bet she can rev up African-American turnout in the donut, win over enough moderate white voters in the Buckhead northeast corner of Atlanta, and rev up African-American turnout elsewhere across the state, Savannah in particular.
It could work. It could work. I do hate to doomsay here, but this is one of those states that loves to split its tickets.
Oh, yes.
You will see Ossoff Jackson voters. I know that sounds bizarre. Or you'll see Ossoff no governor voter. I mean, you will see that happen. This is a state full of ticket splitters. Of course, we've had these Democratic senators and a Republican governor for a long time.
Yep.
In Georgia. So that could complicate things for Bottoms.
Yeah. There's also a weird urban-rural African-American voter behavior divide in Georgia.
Very much so. The African-American voters in Savannah and inside the perimeter in Atlanta are significantly different from those who are living outside Columbus, living outside Augusta, living in like the Ocoee area. So there is a major divide there. It's major is probably overstating it, but there is a difference between measurable divide in those two demographics. So that is a tough race to call. With the ticket splitting, with the different kind of voter behavior you see inside the cities and outside, I would say this is one of those races that is worth investing in for donors and for the party. Because it really could be a pickup. You really could win this election. From what we're seeing in the polling. That said, it could turn into a giant vacuum for cash.
I also think there's an argument that was made to me recently that Trump had an activation effect of rural Georgia voters that Jackson will not bring and Collins will not bring.
I think that's very possible.
Same juice.
Yeah,
all right,
I think
we're being told to move on.
Ooh, are we being told to move on?
We're getting sassy over here in the production chat. All right, Michigan primary,
Michigan Senate primary. Oh gosh, I don't know. I have not seen the general election polling here, but Al Said.
I was a McMorrow voter, but that's just me.
Yeah, jeez,
she's out.
She's just
sadly
too goofy for me. Stevens, I think will ultimately pull this out. What I worry about is a bloody primary, and that leaves the progressive side of the party
doing what they do, which is stomp off in a huff.
Yeah, bitterness is sort of characteristic of that wing of the party, especially in this part of the country. I'm skeptical. I'm worried about this primary. That said, I think that Said actually may perform okay in a Senate primary in Michigan.
Yeah.
I don't think he would be a loser out the gate.
He's really going to end up having to run a race where he maximizes Oakland County.
Yes.
And Dearborn. And Stevens is going to have to run a race where she maximizes African-American turnout and every other rural Democrat in the state and every other rank and file Democrat in the state. But I haven't honestly. That is so close, guys. It's going to be that's going to get real loud.
When is this primary? I should know this. But,
I don't know the answer to that off the top.
I have my whole calendar here.
I really don't. I think it's August. Sean says it's August 3rd. I think that's
August 3rd. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Or is it the 4th? Because that's Monday.
Well, you've got the El Sayed thing is also going to be another test of the DSA style Democrats. So you're going to probably see a lot of Bernie, a lot of Mamdani, a lot of AOC, a lot of Ilhan Omar people out there doing what they can to boost him. So
we got a comment here that says the problem with El Sayed is that he could juice our turnout in opposition.
I think that's not untrue.
Really good point based on what we've been seeing from the president for the last few days.
Right.
Where he has been talking about communism. This is their thing now. This is what they're going to be talking about through.
They wrote a piece about it this week. They're all about the commies, even though they're an imaginary demon.
They are an imaginary demon. El Sayed is not a communist. I think by his own admission, he's a socialist.
Yeah.
And there is a difference. That said, they will try to hang this around his neck, and I think it will work in some cases. With these DSA Democrats, it will definitely work with some of them. And it's going to sink some of these folks. So that's got to be in the calculus in these primary elections.
You can't pretend it's not.
Yeah.
Stevens is a lot harder to beat with that. And look, the reason they're talking about communism, folks, is not because they believe the Democrats are actually communists. They know that their audience is stupid.
Yes.
And they know that they listen to Fox. And if you watch Fox right now, if you counted the number of times they say the word communist every day, you can make a graph of it.
And some of these Fox voters have for 40 years been trained like clapping seals to associate the Democratic Party with communism, socialism, the USSR, the Red Scare, all this stuff. So it's not difficult to turn that on, and they're going to turn it on in a major way. You'll see it on Fox. I guarantee they'll. And we have a Bartiromo clip, I think.
Yeah.
That's talking about socialism.
Yeah, let's play that. Let's play that clip. That's really on point.
But I just had a whole conversation about this with Senator Ashley Moody. And, even though you're talking about crazy ideas and socialism ideas on the left, are the Republicans up for the job? Are the Republicans ready to do what perhaps needs to be done, which is beat the Democrats to removing the filibuster to get President Trump's agenda across the finish line? I don't know about that.
Yeah, listen, we're ready. We're going to make sure we have the MAGA warriors in place in November once this election cycle moves on. We have a lot of great candidates. You got to look at some of the holdouts in the Senate. We're replacing a lot of these guys on the right and replacing with super MAGA warriors. We're going to be there. We're going to win.
Right. I got you. And, of course, that was one of the reasons that President Trump backed Ken Paxton in Texas, But look.
First off, everybody, I've known Joe Gruters for 20 years since he was in the Florida House. I'm just going to say this. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. But Joe Gruters is a naked mole rat in human form. Once you see him, you can never unsee it.